Well, I wanted to start this video off with a bit more of a proper setup, but at this point I can't. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, however, when I hit the down button, nothing happens, but when I hit up, so I am getting some response from hitting the up button versus the down button. But left and right, I'm currently on a language selection screen for a game. Tarzan, this was like, what? Doesn't actually say on here from cash converters. It was either $7. No, sorry, it does say on here. Set me back $7. So there's my game collection. It's nice when you can slowly build things up. Anyway, for now, what I wanted to do in this utter mess. Well, today, the plan is to use this nunchuck, pull it apart, and replace the analog stick with the analog stick on here. That's the idea. But for now, I want to see if I can actually get this to respond. So the GameCube is obviously, but just to be less paranoid, I have a known working console here, controller here, not console, and I'll try that. Alright, so I've got this one plugged in. Yep. So before I completely disassemble and do whatever, do this whole replacement part, I'm going to unplug this from my Wii console, which is this black one. Very nice because it still has all the Wii U stuff. Oh, the GameCube components. So I'll just leave that on and let it do its thing. But what I will be doing is taking this apart and seeing whether or not I can trigger it manually. So let's do that. First, I'll need my special screwdriver. Also, as of today, I still haven't received my Chinese knockoff controller. That still hasn't arrived in the post yet. A bit of a shame, but I also should have had the repair for this cable out, but haven't gotten to that one yet. I checked on my recording device and I've got about 19 gigs worth of free storage, so as long as I can do about 10 gigs worth of video, I should be fine. I think the last one I did was about 4 gigs. It was almost an hour, so hopefully I won't have too much to worry about. And 6. And she's out. Great thing about the GameCube, it has a bunch of different buttons, so you're not going to screw them up. One. Oh, hang on. Nope. See, this is what makes Nintendo really interesting. They turn around and they've designed their own buttons so they all only go into particular slots. So I'll take this off. So with this pad, is there a particular way it should go? No. All right, so let's try that as it is. Turn the volume up on my television. Yes, I have the remote. Volume. But there's no batteries. Now there's some reused batteries. There we go. I think 40 should do it. Alright, so that's still not working, which is the first concern. Now, can I bridge that manually? Okay, so obviously the down button's still not working. I honestly don't see how this could be affecting that. Unplug. Wow, they certainly made this interesting. Insert the controller. Okay, so even upside down, that seems to be working. Let's try plopping it like this. Alright, so there's a problem here. Now, without a particular detailed layout, fire up my multimeter. I wonder if I can manipulate that actually. So first thing I should try, can I do this? No, so that's not going to work. Can I take a mini screw, drive a bit, and manipulate that? Because one of these is definitely on a bit of an edge. So I'm getting nothing out of that. And I'm getting nothing out of that. All right, unplug. It's funny, I was setting up my GameCube to test this stuff last time. Turns out I didn't need to do any of that. suppose a good idea would be to see if I could test, see if I can probe it. Alright, important, not plugged in, so connection cable here. It's unfortunately getting a little dark, which I'm not really liking. The weather today. And I just cut my yeah. And I want connectivity. So I'll just bring this in over here. That's ohms. Okay. Zero connection. Actually, I'm going to turn on my light. That's better. Bring it forward. Ah. With the LED, this light thing from way back, I am actually able to see the tracks. So here's the grounding plane, which means if I pop there, I can find a grounding plate. No connectivity. So I'm guessing this is the signal rail. Goes all the way up through here and then plots here. And I'm getting high impedance before it drops back to nothing. Is that correct? Oh, okay, I'm not fixing this. Now I can actually see why. Someone has hit this so hard that it has literally sent cracks through this board. That's a real nasty thing, isn't it? See, take a look. Look at that. You've got a center point here, this hole. Crack shoots all the way out here, shoots over here. This one shoots from this point of the board all the way over to here. Broken who knows how many tracks, and there are a couple floating through here that connect to who knows what. This board is stuffed and crummy, and I kind of feel stupid right now because, ooh, look at that one, I didn't notice that one before. That would be the reason why this controller doesn't seem to want to push down. It's not that this button's not working, it's that this area is just stuffed. I mean, oof. Whoever hit this hard did a good job on it. So, what does this mean? Well, kind of funny how the board does sort of work, but I can't reuse it. This is just going to have to get tossed. But, no, first off, I don't have to go upstairs. Second, I can actually reuse this, depending. The cheap Chinese knockoff that I ordered, if I take this off, I should be able to reuse this. I'm going to try to get this cleaned up. I might be able to reuse that. I might be able to reuse the entire caddy except for the right button, which is missing. I take the cheap Chinese one, take the logic board from that and install it into this caddy. That way, on the outside it won't look like it's a cheap version, it'll just look, you know, semi-legitimate. The other thing I do is keep this, because if I come across a board where the chip is no longer functioning, I can take the chip off this board and place it into a... Well, it's a major problem with the PlayStation controllers. Apparently the main logic chip on the controller fails, so, you know... But I did not see that before. Ooh, nasty. Ooh, it even goes all the way up. Ooh. So yeah, you can see it just cuts through a lot of these tracks. Now, technically, yes, this is fixable. I would have to solder from... I'd have to figure out where all these tracks are, and then their destination, and then solder a wire from, or wires from whatever locations, and then up to here, up to wherever they connect to, which could have me scratching away a couple of these probe points, or directly to the chip itself, or to whatever component or capacitor. I'm going to have to see if I can find a schematic for game controllers, although I'm pretty sure it's not something people are genuinely interested in fixing, unlike the console itself, which has been but man, that is nasty. Well, that's something. If you have one of these controllers and you notice this stick is out of it a bit, definitely look to see if there's any major cracking on the other side. Saves you a lot of time and energy. I'll zoom back in on that again. Is that even another crack along here? Looks like it. Woof. Nasty. Well, this is why you got to treat your controllers with care and don't throw them across the room or smash them into things. Because when they break, well, if you got the money to, it's quite easy to replace, but when they're not... So, there's a few things like for today. Don't smash these things around. Oh, and if you're curious, ooh, can't really see it. Oh, it's a ball mechanism in there. Okay. Anyway, that was fun to learn. Let's reassemble this and... Let's not, actually. Let's not. Nah, stop. Reassemble it. Well, my fear was pulling out the soldering my desoldering station and firing that thing up, but it ain't gonna happen. Although I have to admit, it would be fun to try to jerry-rig this thing back to work again. Before I did that, though, I'd need to turn around and probe every single square inch of that. Identify which parts are actually working and which parts are not. And then, once it's all sort of hooked up, how long it would actually last, which means I don't really need this. So, but it was expensive. No, this was like $15, and I'm thinking, well, you know, in a way to actually get it working, that's a good idea, but no. So my next video will be once I can get a hold of the Chinese one that I ordered and jerry-rigging it so that I just use the outside of the caddy. Alright, oh, I'm actually... No, it's not surprising that this is still functioning, because this chip hasn't been damaged. The main, ground plane for the whole thing isn't damaged. That's preventing it from connecting anywhere else, but... So... Alright. It's interesting how there's no key for that. This... Why on earth would they have this keyed? Unless, of course, it's a Game Boy. It was used on another device. so this bit just simply reattaches onto here like so, carefully, before totally and utterly destroying it. Nope, there it goes. Alright. Yeah, these are fragile. I've broken a few like this before and they just snap like anything. It's very disturbing when that happens. So how do you plug in? You go in like that. Okay. Then I have to lay you on top. Well, I guess the next video should be reassembling, or replacing the internals with knockoffs. Now, as I found on some YouTube videos and notes when reading forums about reassembling these, you gotta make sure these here are always up the top. You don't want to have them halfway down or something. It could cause problems. Okay, take note whenever you're reassembling something before you just crash it back in together. I forgot this, and I forgot to put that in, which means I have to take the whole thing off again. Constant reassemble here, there, and everywhere. Okay, so you have to go there, you have to go back on like so, you have to go in there. I need to go see someone who sold me these and tell them that this controller is seeing definitely seen better days. And then I slide this that could have been bad. So it would seem that buying that $11 controller was a good idea. Something didn't feel right. Okay, that's on properly, that's on properly, that's in properly. There. Okay, let's do some screws up. That's one. I suppose the other advantage to this is, well, I learned something. I learned that you got to take a good, close, strong look at something, even if you're working on it on a video. I can't believe someone hit that so hard as to smash the actual board itself and crack it up. Oh, that cracks me up. Who the hell would be that violent? Actually, since I spent so much into getting this set up, I think I might go do desoldering anyway and take these off. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these power connectors, because and that just seemed terrible. I think I got a pair of scissors around here or something. Nope. That is definitely really good in there. I'm also considering about reusing this cable, like as I was mentioning with this one as well. This is a flexible wire that I could potentially use for modding in the future, or at least, you know, learning to mod, instead of wasting my money on something that I'm probably not going to use or end up making good use of. And because there's no more testing, there's no reason for me to keep this game in or this Wii console on. So something important that I learned when it comes to, you know, keeping these consoles around for a long time: remove the batteries, unless if you're using the rechargeable type AA's. There's a good chance these are gonna, you know, leak, and when they leak, it's a bit of a mess. While it can be repairable, it's probably something best not actually done. Ooh, this is only half an hour into it. Okay. Off, and that one's fine. Alright then, what I'll be doing for the meantime is taking these batteries out, putting them back where they belong, which isn't there, and I will get myself set up upstairs. Alright, so I don't exactly know what you can hear and can't hear. I've got a mask on at the moment, which is what I wear when I'm in this room. So this is the controller. All I did in the meantime was set my camera setup in my workshop, which is just a spare room, and I didn't have to bring this whole thing up. Did I? No, yes I did. Actually no, I didn't, because I had a semi setup of a screwdriver down. Okay. That's potentially reusable for the GameCube because of the layout. Probably shouldn't have brought it up here. What a bugger. So this is interesting. Little blob for the, well, main chip for this whole setup. These switches might be worth salvaging. You might be wondering why. Well, you might need to use them in another device. But for the meantime, can I take these off? Yes, it's just a slide potentiometer. These ground plates haven't been no solder on that, so this shows you how cheap it is. I had an opportunity to potentially buy one of these, well, an official one. I wasn't exactly sure. I couldn't look at it because it was behind a piece of glass. Anyway, I'm going to fire up my desoldering station. Before I do that, that tip should be fine. So I got one of these cheap, whatever, TS 1513 desoldering stations, or desoldering gun. But my objective today will be to remove this, and to remove this, and this one. That's the whole point of this. You can hear how loud that desoldering station is. It just bad. It's bad. That's all it is. It's just bad. So I'm going to set my desoldering station to about 335 degrees today. And let that build up. We're at 200. Come on. We're at 250. So with these, honestly, when it comes to buying new tips, I just buy them off eBay from the cheap knockoff, the cheap Heiko knockoffs. Can't remember if it's like the 808. Hang on, what's the... Yeah, it's the 808. Alright, so we're about there now. So give this a bit of a violent sort of cleanup. And I'm going to turn on my fume extractor. Probably a little late, but whatever. Okay, I'm happy. I'm going to experiment later on by pre-tinning the actual pins itself, but for now, just apply a couple of blobs onto here. And as you can see, the hopefully potential dangerous stuff is going to go into the fan and not my face. Two, three. And with any luck, yep, that should just pop out. To make that even easier, I should have a... No. So I picked this up from school when I was in primary school. Sorry, many years ago. This was a craft thing. I was working with clay. This would have been back when I was in primary school, so I don't know. I've never gone back to that school, so I'm not even in the same state from back then. And no, I don't have transport to get there myself, so that's out of the question. So I mean, really, this is just a standard slide potentiometer. But, yeah. Oh, I have a backup. That's important. Whether it's compatible with the GameCube ones, still up for debate. Now, I'll take this again. Give it a couple of too rough taps. That's probably not a good idea. Oh. And let's try to remove these. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that should be clear. Should be. That I don't like. That's better. Okay, so can I take off these ground pins? No, that's not working. Couple of dips. Solder. Oh, that is definitely better. Ooh, that came off nicely. How about the second one? No. Yeah, I don't like how that one's coming. Oh. Tip. There's a bunch of solder. Oop. I am not sure about that. I already committed to the idea that I'm going to have to replace this gun at some point, which is a real shame, but that's how it is. Oh, that's definitely not good. Tap, reapply. There we go. I'm happy with that. Not good enough. And that desoldering gun is start. Oh. There we go. Okay, so this Joy-Con or analog, whatever you want to call it, this is the only one that's been soldered on the ground planes, while this one hasn't. So that, yeah, that's irritating. But it also means, can I remove? And yes, I'm aware that I'm still wearing these gloves. I do wash my hands after I take gloves off anyway, so that doesn't really worry me too much. There we go. So there's that one out. Ooh, fun. Now, let's see if I can salvage the other one. So we still do have a fair bit of solder. I'll just prop that up. That's a dangerous part about using this. Can you see I nicked the actual board itself? On one that you want to keep, that's not going to be a good idea. You probably can't tell, but looks like these two pins here and this pin here I didn't desolder properly. So, back to the desoldering station. Well, gun. And a bit more. There we go. There we go. There we go. That's not smart. Alright, so that's definitely rocking backwards and forwards. And that is still filled with solder. So let's see if I can desolder that with this. Good blob of that. Sticker on target. Let it warm up. And well, let's see, that's done it. So I keep those two out of the way. Can I prop you up? And another reason that's not a good idea. There we go. Okay, so that's coming out. Not exactly as straight as I was hoping. So it feels like there's still just a little bit too much resistance. Trying to pull it out. Feels like it's coming from here. So let's see if I can just wedge it out. And yeah, there's still a little bit of solder left on this pin. Can you see that? Just bring it up here. See that solder? Just up here. That'll be why. So I've got my own method for doing that, which everybody else probably does anyway. And let's see if I can clean up this grounding plate. Well, I partially melted the plastic on that, which I'm not proud of. Okay, so that's blocked. Come on. There we go. Just have to pull you off. All right. Let's get that blob of solder off. And let's try to reapply this and put it back. Ooh! Plastic. That's better. So I probably got that little bit that I sucked up jammed in there, which not pretty, but hey, it happens. So right now I'm going to cover this back with some solder, and especially on the inside, let it run around a bit and drop the temperature. So what I like to do with this desoldering station is drop the temperature down to the lowest setting, which is about 160 C, and then just let it slowly drop. So that's nice and covered up. I could have probably taken that crystal off, it's like 20 megahertz, but I can't think of any devices that I'd attach that to that would operate at that speed, so it's, you know. And we're currently at 300. So I can put this away carefully. I can turn this off. And while that slowly drops down, we can check the resistance with these. So here's my multimeter. Better put that back, don't want to lose it. 275 at the moment, so it's still got a little bit more to drop. This on in ohms. And what do we get here? So it looks like that's about 5k at 0.0. And this one is alright, so we've got two 5k resistors. Another 5k resistor. and that one's set to about 6. So with any luck, those two edges won't touch. So really what we should have here are two 10k resistors. Okay, so my desoldering station's down to its lowest temperature and I can turn it off. Now let's see what happens if I bounce this around. That's 100 ohms. Huh. Can you see my... Yep, that's good. Alright, so we've got 5k there. What about this end? What about 10k there? And about 50 ohms there. Alright, so let's test this other side, shall we? So if I prop you there, and so we're looking at 5k there, we're looking at a few hundred ohms there, 130, and we're looking at about 10k there. So it's just two 10k pots. Alright. What about this sucker? What are you? Ow. I accidentally touched the top of that tip, so... Ow. Okay. So it looks like this is a 10k pot as well, which means if I slide it to about here and instead jam these in like so, why am I still getting 10k? Unless, of course, it's these two. So up here we should have 10k, and then down here that's confusing. Honestly, I have no idea about this. Alright, so that's an ohms reading of about 15. And that's about 10k. Okay. So it looks like it's these two pins that hit the mark. So yeah, that's a slide potentiometer from a Wii controller. What looks funny to me is how they've used like a 0 ohms resistor here to bridge that. I could have probably desoldered these buttons. That'd be useful. Or for something. I mean, under here, what do we got? Yeah, one of these tactile switches, but this, yeah. Oh well, in the event of emergency, I got a couple of these, which are good. So it looks like I got to whip out my desoldering stuff and have a bit of a fun anyway, so that's good. Anyway, that was entertaining. Probably not for you, but what fun. Anywho, I am going to edit this and then upload it. See ya. Come on.